For tonight's round 4 of the Flux Season 5 IndyCar Championship at the world-famous Brickyard, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Home of the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. Tonight will be, in essence, the Flux Motorsport version of that event. I'm your host tonight, Carlin Hicks, and we are just getting underway in qualifying. Just getting underway here in qualifying at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is the 4th round of the 2021 Season 3, 5th season of Flux Competition IndyCar Championship. And it has been a terrific season so far. 3 rounds have been run at Daytona, Willow Springs, and last week at Long Beach, and we've seen 3 different winners and a very competitive championship so far. Let me get myself off of the track here and onto the monitors. Of course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 2.5 mile, 4 turns. It is the most famous racetrack in the world, built in 1909. Been running the Indianapolis 500 here since 1911, and it is the mecca and seat of IndyCar racing, the oldest continuously run championship series in the world, going back to even before the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. American open wheel racing dates back to 1905, and the 2 biggest races on the calendar, Long Beach and Indianapolis, coming back to back here, and we're going to get a look at all of that as we prepare for qualifying and what can either be, will be an exciting race either way, whether or not it's a wreck fest, whether or not it's turns into a number of things. I know that I was telling the guys in the pre-race that my greatest moments as a sim racer, vast majority of them came here. Saying hi to Jack Millar, good to see you, brother, watching on Flux TV. But as I said, some of my greatest times in a race car right here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Fortunate enough to have some success here. But this is a tough race to set up for. You need low downforce, high speeds, and we want to see the speedo on these guys for this race. But you've also got to have, as always, a 20-minute qualifying session will be followed by a 45-minute race feature. If we do not get too much under the yellow or the red flag during the race, that should be somewhere in the range of 150 to 175 miles, roughly about 160 to 175 miles on the track, or roughly 65-70 laps is what I'm expecting to see. 3rd season of IndyCar competition here at Flux Motorsport. Started back in Season 3, now running Season 5, and the 1st season had a cancellation here of the Indianapolis race. So last season was the first one, and it was won by Dale the Whale, who was not in the field this season. Going to have a new Indianapolis winner, but let's get our rundown here. Let's get our rundown here on the point standings, and they are very tight after 3 through 8 rounds. You're looking at the Verizon Chevy of just Piddlin, number 2 Verizon Chevy, the Penske car. He comes in. Fix this. He comes in with 86 points, just in the points lead so far this season. And Piddlin's consistent results have been the reason for his success. He was 4th place at Daytona to kick off the season, followed it up with a 2nd place run at Willow Springs and another 2nd place run last week at Long Beach. Had a very real shot at winning it, banged his car up, but still managed to come up through the field, hang on. So with back-to-back 2nd place finishes, this guy is looking to expand. He's got the points lead narrowly with the 2 podiums, 3 top 5s. But I know this is a guy, American driver, would love to do well here and would love to get to expand that championship lead going into the back half of the season. Just pulling up my stats here at the moment. Yeah, and with that points lead, just piddling also another guy looking to score that first career Flux IndyCar win. He's got become a regular on the podium. We'll have to see what he's got moving forward here. All right, moving on to Australian driver, Super Crusher, not yet out on the track, but coming out in the 28 DHL Honda. The Chevy versus Honda battle has been heavy this season. Super Crusher second in the points, 83 points, just 3 points behind just piddling in the standings after the first 3 races. This is a guy who got his first career Flux IndyCar win in the season opener at Daytona. Just a tremendous drive on the high banks of the super speedway. Followed it up with another podium, a 3rd place finish at Willow Springs. Didn't have the race he wanted at Long Beach, came home in 6th place, lost the points lead, but as we said, still very, very close. This has been the guy who you assume he's been the breakout driver so far this season. He and Just Piddlin both have, and they've been the 2 biggest prongs on the Honda versus Chevy battles. We got a big wreck, and that looks like the 98 car of HHV went hard in qualifying, but the good thing is they can patch you up here in the month of May and get you ready for Memorial Day at Indianapolis. Anyhow, let's get back to where we were. Super Crusher coming in to get that car repaired and head back out, but looking good so far in the championship. A little bit of a gap back to last week's winner, and that is McToasty. See, when the camera focuses, there's our guy in the NTT data car, number 10 from the Ganassi stable. McToasty, 4 career Flux IndyCar wins. That is tied with Cat Guy for the most all time, and he tied that record last week at Long Beach. Won for the 2nd straight season at Long Beach. Just came through the field with a perfectly clean run, got his first win of the season. As I said, his 4th in his Flux IndyCar career, and comes here confident, the American driver here, that he's very much in this championship. Currently 20 points back after he missed Willow Springs, but just 20 points behind the leaders with 5 rounds to go. And this is definitely a swing race here at Indianapolis. McToasty's fast in any type of car you put him in. Here in the Indy cars, he's fast on the ovals and the road courses. We'll just have to see what he can put together here. 4th in the championship, Immortalis. Not seeing him on the track so far. We're hoping he'll make it here in the next few minutes, but a little bit conspicuous there by his absence, just 23 points behind, as is the 5th place car of Nutley, just 27 points back. Both those guys unable to make the trip to the Brickyard here this week, and that brings us back to a guy who should be able to move up, and that is the Flux Season 3 IndyCar champion, Cat Guy. He had a phenomenal inaugural season in the Flux IndyCar Championship, won 4 out of 7 races to run away with the title, and since then has had a lot of problems avoiding damage, avoiding the wrecks, but he's coming off a very good race for him. His first podium of the season, finished 3rd last week at Long Beach, and that helped make up for a couple of pretty rough outings, wrecking at both Daytona and Willow Springs. But his first podium of the season, and this is a guy who can win at this track, absolutely. He is one of the top oval and speedway drivers in that PureTech 61, and after last week's run at Long Beach, you got to think the confidence is back up that maybe he can come back and get that 2nd Flux IndyCar championship. He comes in, as we said here, 33 points behind the leaders, but long way to go. 5 rounds to go, and a lot of tracks that Cat Guy excels at coming up as he takes that thing real high to the wall. That's going to bring us to Taijo, just now coming out of the pit lane. In the 63 Susan G. Komen car. Taijo, the reigning Flux IndyCar champion from season 4, and as we said before, in the unusual position of being a reigning series champion, who is still searching for that first win. Consistency and 5 podiums last season carried him to the Flux season 4 IndyCar championship, and now still looking for that first win, but he has been a consistent podium finisher. Knows he can run well, already has a series title, and now he's going to try to fall in here in qualifying and move himself up farther back in the field. Comes into this race 7th in points, good distance of 45 back. Had a 5th place run at Daytona and a troublesome 10th place at Willow Springs and 11th at Long Beach. He's been bitten by the damage bug so far this season in that title defense, but it really starts here today. He still has the time to make up some ground in this championship, but he's going to have to pull it off, start doing it here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 8th in the championship, HHVC. Hopefully Revs Martin not going to continue to have problems. 8th in the championship, HHVC on equal 45 points back. And his season so far has been up and down. Had a podium finish at Daytona in the season opener, first career podium in the IndyCar Series. Was his debut race in the Flux IndyCar Championship. Came home 3rd at Daytona, followed it up with a 4th place run at Willow Springs, was looking very promising, but a 9th place run amidst some problems at Long Beach has dropped him back in the standings. 45 points back in 8th. He too still has the ability to make up some ground. 9th place car, Green Game, and another surprise no-show here at the Brickyard this week, and that will bring us to Revs Martin, who's on the entry list and has been here, but is still back in Gasoline Alley with some technical problems. We'll be hoping that in the next few minutes he'll be getting back on the track. That covers our top 10. There are some other cars here worth mentioning. Sitting in the pit lane in the 77 Lucas Oil car is the Australian driver Mark Webber. Mark, of course, the winner on his debut at Willow Springs 2 weeks ago. Amid a bit of controversy about how the start went, but nonetheless he had a fantastic drive, drove it all the way around to the victory, and currently sitting 11th in points. That's been his only race. This will be his 2nd start of the season, and right now with 7.5 minutes to go in the qualifying session, he is currently on the top of the board here in qualifying. So we'll see if he can hang on for Cracked Piston, another driver who has made a part-time schedule in the series so far. Should be back, I believe, onto the full-time running schedule here soon. Does have 11 championship points on the season. Checking his results. Yeah, 13th place run at Daytona, 11th at Willow Springs. Did not start last week at Long Beach, so he's back. Cracked Piston, another Aussie driver in the Gallagher car. Another one out of the Ganassi stable, I believe, number 8, is that? Yeah. And he's currently 2nd on the time chart, and you'll see the faster times towards the end. It's just perfect weather, at least in terms of the clear skies, but as you can see, currently the month of October, 60-degree ambient temperature and just 53 degrees on the track. That is a very cold track for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so this is definitely not ideal conditions for grip. Would like to see those track temperatures 20-30 degrees higher, and I think that may or may not affect the drivers. Despite the clear conditions, it is still very cold on the track, so we'll have to see how that works out for these guys. Ed Yeager, another driver, one to point out here, 10th place at Long Beach last week, 8th place at Willow Springs, and a chance to win at Daytona, but wound up finishing in 12th. Currently puts him 13th in the points, but 56 back, still ground to make up. Ed, an American driver, and really another one of those guys who quick everywhere, but primarily I would say an oval racing specialist. Quiznos car here, sponsorship here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're looking at that car hit 240 miles an hour going into turn 1. Currently 6th on the board, but as you can see, less than a second, 1 through 10. And of course, a lot of those are drafting times. But inside of 5 minutes, we're taking the ride around. Ed Yeager had some bad luck. He does have one career win in the series. That was in the final race of last season, season 4. He won at the Texas Motor Speedway. So we know he can get around on the speedways, and is definitely a driver I look to be a contender here today. I told him so during testing this week. All right, looks like we've covered just about everyone's Survivor. Got a few finishes so far this season in the number 7 Honda, but hasn't really been his season so far. Check out his results as I look them up here. Finished 9th at Daytona, DNF'd at Willow Springs as he crashed pretty heavily, and was 12th at Long Beach last week. He needs a good finish just to get back up into the top 10 in the championship. And he's had speed at times in that Doom Honda. But I would think that he needs a big race this week. Very capable here, but his problem has been avoiding accidents. He has been accident prone, and that has been his biggest issue. But I think if he can pull it together, I think the big thing here is to remember, let's give you some technical specs here, especially for those of you new to watching IndyCar racing and Flux IndyCar racing. These are identical Dallara chassis. The teams have the option of a Chevy or Honda motor and aero kit. So there are slight differences in the cars, although they test out in the wind tunnel and on the dyno for the exact same. There are differences in how you set up the cars. So the Honda-Chevy battle is very real manufacturer's battle. There is no push to pass on the ovals. They use one standard compound of tire. The big question here is the horsepower deal. They do use open boost horsepower in qualifying, so those cars hitting 37 seconds, they're really not capable of doing that in race trim except in the draft. The turbo boost is opened up 75 more horsepower in qualifying. That is closed for the race, and so they're running on slightly less horsepower in the race. And that's something to keep in mind. And it's keep in mind handling. You can set up a car that can go faster by itself, but you may be a disaster. You know, it may be a disaster when it comes to running in a pack or running in a group. You may not be able to handle it. I've seen it many times in the past, my own racing days here. I can remember drivers winning the pole for the Indy 500 and other sanctioning bodies and crashing out in the first 3 or 4 laps. So that becomes a very real scenario here for these guys to be looking at. I said, guys that we're not seeing here, we're a little disappointed. Pogo not making the trip, Green Gaiman not making the trip, Immortalis we were expecting to see, but he's not going to be in the field. And it's looking like, at the moment, Mark Webber's back out in that Lucas Oil car, newcomer to the IndyCar Series. As we said, took the win at Willow Springs earlier this season. At Willow Springs, I believe he started that race from the outside pole, so real chance here today of him winning his first Flux IndyCar pole in that 77 Chevrolet. Getting a little bit of draft, but he's currently got the fastest time on the chart, 37.860 seconds. That's well in excess of 225 miles per hour. Pull himself up as looking to bring that pole back to Australia. Cracked Pistons currently second, Ed Yeager's third, HHP fourth, and Super Crusher is fifth. These cars will be starting single file in the race for safety reasons, and so every one of these positions is going to be valuable. What also valuable is that bonus point. And with his first career win already in the books, Mark Webber feeling confident here in the Flux IndyCar Championship. Feeling very confident. All right, he's bringing it in with 30 seconds to go. Let's check in on our chat here on Flux TV. Thank you from Daz. Good to see you, brother. Let's see if anybody else. No, they're pulling it in. All right, folks, so here we are. Your starting lineup for the Flux Motorsport Season 5 IndyCar Championship Round 4 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is as follows. Starting first will be Mark Webber in the 77 Lucas Oil Chevrolet. Starting second is Cracked Piston in the Gallagher Chevrolet. Starting third will be Ed Yeager in the Quiznos car. Starting fourth is HHVC in the 98 Napa Auto Parts Honda. Starting fifth in the DHL Andretti Honda will be Super Crusher, the Daytona winner earlier this season. Mark C. with a good qualifying run for him in the Andretti car 26, I believe, and he will be starting sixth. Just Piddlin, the current points leader, brings that Verizon Chevy up to seventh. Cat Guy, the former IndyCar champion, will be starting in eighth in the PureTech car. Last week's winner at Long Beach, McToasty, will be starting in ninth in the NTT Data Chevrolet. Rebs Martin will be in the Snapple Honda starting 10th. Survivor is in the Doom Honda. He will be starting in 11th. And the defending IndyCar champion, Ty Joe, will be shotgun on the field in the Susan B. Komen Honda. All right, so we are set to go here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Going to give a quick shout out to those watching. Daz making a prediction that it's going to be Cat Guy's night. Well, we're going to have to see. Christian Stark says Cracked Piston is going to win it, and he very well could. These guys are going to be falling into line single file on the formation lap. It'll be single file on all the starts and restarts coming off the caution periods. I'll talk you all through that. 12 starters here tonight in the Indy cars. Cracked Piston, as I said, has had a couple of good results this season. Didn't get what he wanted at Willow, but he ran very well earlier this season at Daytona, and just got caught up in the wreck towards the end. And that can definitely harm your chances, but that's what this race is about. You can lose this race very early. Be patient early on, get the car settled in, and a lot of what this race is about, these cars are going to have to pit for fuel and tires. Your strategy, and really, do you have a long run car? You might be fast for that first 10 laps and pull out 3, 4, 5 seconds, but if you're wearing that car out or don't have enough downforce to run in traffic, that can go away real quick. But Mark Webber will be the one leading us to the start line. Got 5 Australian drivers in the top 6 in qualifying, and that just goes to show you what an international field the Flux IndyCar Championship has. Australians long, some of the greatest IndyCar drivers of all time have been Aussies and New Zealanders, including Scott Dixon, the Anzac region, producing a lot of great IndyCar drivers. Personally, I've always been a fan of Ryan Briscoe. All right, it's spitting them out single file, so they should be just fine where they're at, as they're going to be rolling it around, picking it back up to a 75 mile per hour pace speed, but you are looking at your pole sitter in the 77 Lucas Oil sponsorship. That is Mark Webber. It's a Honda, not a Chevrolet. I called it a Chevy earlier. I apologize. That is a Honda. So we've got Honda, Chevy, Honda, and Honda. That's going to be a big battle in the manufacturer's battle, as always. But Mark Webber's made a big splash so far. The win at Willow Springs 2 weeks ago. Not at the moment really close in the championship, but he's not terribly far back if he can get another high points finish. As we said, this is just round 4 of 8. This guy's bringing it down, slowing it up, getting the field set. 12 cars on the track. I believe they're going to start picking up the pace here. Yeah, doing about 60. They're going to get it up to about 70 miles per hour here pretty soon. And they'll be going green at the lights, but it's been a fantastic season of competition in the Flux IndyCar Championship so far. As I said, 3 different winners: Super Crusher at Daytona, Mark Webber at Willow Springs, and McToasty at Long Beach last week. They'll be heading to Watkins Glen next week, but this is round 4 of 8 in the championship. And this is really the pivotal race, the greatest spectacle in racing, the most famous motor circuit in the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the mecca of American motorsports. And Mark Webber is going to lead us down to the start. We're going to get ready to get on to the chase cam as soon as possible, because we have a feeling we're going to need that one. We're just waiting for the lights here at the Brickyard. And we are underway at Indianapolis. Looks like Super Crusher jumps to the inside quickly. He's looking to make some positions. He jumps all the way up to 3rd. With a great start for Super Crusher. Let's hope he was clean there and doesn't draw the ire of the marshals. But he makes a great start, moving up from 5th to 3rd. Ed Yeager falls in behind him, HHV behind him, and now's the best time to get on that chase cam at the shotgun end of the field and take a look at what these guys are seeing. Survivor back in 11th, having to get out of the throttle there, and that's why you don't want to get too close to somebody in that dirty air. You want to kind of manage how you attack the corners, because that dirty air is wild. As you see Cat Guy getting into the wall a little bit. Let's hope he didn't bang that thing up. Car looks okay. Looks like he's just trying to get back up to speed, but he had a little bit of trouble there right off the bat. But Cracked Piston, meanwhile, gets by Mark Webber and takes the lead. Super Crusher and Ed Yeager falling in behind him, and they're trying to get a gap on the group behind them. Second group forming up just a little bit behind them. HHV in 5th. Mark C is in 6th. Just piddling. The points leaders in 7th. Rex Martin in 8th, and they're now trying to work their way back up through the field. Cat Guy goes inside on Taijo, looking to make up for that early problem, but these guys just getting sorted out here. And it looks like Taijo and Cat Guy racing hard for that 9th place position. You can almost hear the veteran Cat Guy saying, we need to get in line, not let these guys in front get away from us. He lets Taijo go and falls in. So far handling okay. The track temperature still low, but these guys seem to be handling all right. Meanwhile, back up front, Cracked Piston shooting to the lead from 2nd. Mark Webber, the pole sitter, into 2nd. Super Crusher's 3rd. Ed Yeager in 4th. That is the front group that's got about a second on the group behind them. Let's get on board. HHV and Mark battling behind them. That's your battle for 5th place. HHV in the 98 Napa Auto Parts car. It's the 26 Andretti car for Mark C. Hard luck Mark. Know he wants to have a good race, but so far a good clean start. It looks like right there HHV getting a little dirty air. And do I hear cars slowing down? No, I don't. Just a trick of the ears. But those two battling the dirty air. Once these tires start wearing in and the weight starts coming off the back of that car from the fuel load, you're going to start to see some handling changes by these guys. And we expect to see somewhere around 65, 70 laps or so. Working lap 5 right now. Take a look back in the field. Just piddling with Cat Guy right on his tail. Taijo right behind him. And Survivor at the tail end of that 4-car group running about 6 seconds back. And unfortunately for McToasty, last week's winner at Long Beach, he has fallen off the pace quite considerably, running at the back of the field, 8.5 seconds back. I don't know if he's got a setup problem or something wrong with the car, but right now he appears to be just hanging on, trying to keep up. But 6 cars appear to be just lined up, knocking down laps. Same thing going here. Let's get on board in the cockpit of the Honda for the reigning Flux IndyCar champion from season 4, Taijo, running in 10th place, 7 seconds off the lead, trying to see some of that dirty air. Put up his telemetry and we'll try to see if and where he's burping the throttle. He is a little bit off the throttle right there, saving a little fuel more than likely, using the draft down the straight. But here's the tough part: if you don't get there before the corner, you're going to get all that dirty air right there and wash around, and it looks to me like he might be doing that. He's got Survivor right on his tail as well. That's going to get him loose. And you can see him fighting that car, fighting that aero push. He's just looking for some handling right now. As they're running 3 to 5 tenths off of the top cars, and that's not necessarily their speed, that they're not as fast as the leaders. It's that they're riding in the turbulent air of 7, 8, 9 cars in front of them. The wake of these goes way back, and it looks like Survivor makes the pass and goes into 10th place. Can he hang on to the car? Makes it good pass there by Survivor in the Beam car, moves up into 10th. That drops Hydro back, and McToasty, he's now back with the group. So maybe he turned it back on. They are running, as I said, slower than that front group, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they got slower cars. They are dealing with a lot more turbulent air, a lot more cars cutting the track in front of them. These things at 230, 235 miles per hour make hell of a turbulent air. And that's what these guys are dealing with. But right now, working lap 9, it's still cracked piston. But Ed Yeager has moved past Mark Webber into 2nd place. Mark Webber falling back a bit in the 77. He's now in 3rd with Super Crusher all over him. And Super Crusher going to the inside, looking to take the pole sitter, and he does. If he can make it stick here. Webber under all sorts of pressure in that 77 Lucas Oil car now. He's got HHV on his tail along with Mark C. That group has caught up to them. Don't know if he had a problem. He was a little slow on that last lap. But these tires starting to wear in, and you're starting to see the handling change. Webber falling back as he's lost that inside line. Now he finally cuts back in. It looks like Mark C letting him in. So tip of the cap from one Aussie to another. Meanwhile, back up front, cracked piston continues to lead, but now he's got the American Ed Yeager right on his tail in the Quiznos Chevrolet. Super Crushers come to the front of that group in 3rd. 3, 4, 5, 6. Then a gap back to Rebs Martin, who looks like somebody went around there, and I believe that may have been, yes, that may have been Mark Webber. Our pole sitter may have gone around. Yes, he did. Looks like Mark Webber, our pole sitter, lost it. Don't know if there was contact. I'm not seeing the car slowing down, so it may have been a solo spin. No yellow on the track. And now we've definitely got a yellow. Big wreck. Big wreck. We need to find this one. McToasty is one of the cars involved, and it looks like Survivor is the other one. And we do have the caution on the speedway here on lap 11. McToasty, we caught the tail end of it. I don't want to conjecture too much, but it looked like McToasty was coming into the accident, and it appears as though McToasty ran into Survivor, who may have lost the car in front of him, which is a little bit unfortunate. Survivor was running very, very well. But that is going to bring out our first yellow on lap 11, and it looks like Survivor and McToasty have taken damage. Taijo's a little ways back. I want to see if his car is okay. We're looking to get the cameras to cycle back around to the defending champion, and he might be pulling into the pits because of damage. I don't know. I don't see visible damage, but he's on the pit lane right away under the yellow, so I would assume he's go ahead and decided to fix the car. But looks like we have at least 3 cars picking up some damage right here. So we are under yellow here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cracked Piston is your leader in the number 8 Gallagher Chevrolet. Ed Yeager in second, Super Crusher third, HHV fourth, and Revs Martin fifth. First caution of the day. And it looks like we're going to have at least 3 cars coming into the pit lane for repairs. But this is the oval tracks with the wave around rules. You get a repair, go down a lap, get another caution later on, you can be right back on the lead lap as long as you didn't damage the car too much. So you'll hope that McToasty, Taijo, and Survivor can make their repairs quickly. McToasty looks like he has extensive repairs, but a new wing doesn't take that long. A new wing and suspension does take that long, and you hope not to lose more than a lap, because even if you're just a lap down, you're still in this race with over 35 minutes to go. These guys are still under yellow. Their pits are going to be opening for the lead lap cars when they come by here. Clock, of course, still running. Too early, I would think, to make it to the end from here on fuel. You would definitely have to stop again if you pit now. The question is, most of these guys are going to be telling the crew chiefs, I want 4 tires. Because you saw some of the handling change as they got 10 laps into the run. Fuel run in these is in excess of 30 laps. Or around 30 laps, I should say. So they got about a third, getting close to halfway through the run, and they could feel the changes in that car. So you're going to see some guys have to make adjustments. The biggest adjustments are the ones you can make on board. Got your button set to change the, not the weight jacker, but the anti-roll bars front and rear. As that car starts to push, you want to soften the anti-roll bars, turn them down on the front to get a little more bite. If your car is loose, you want to soften the rear anti-roll bars or stiffen the front to get a little less bite. And it looks like a number of cars up front here are staying out, and a number of cars are going to pit under the yellow and take fresh tires. So this is going to make things interesting right off the bat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all staying out on the track. 6 cars staying out on the track. Ed Yeager just piddling. Cat Guy, Taijo is still coming back in after making repairs. And that's very odd. It's all Australian drivers who chose to stay out, and almost all American drivers who came in. So I don't know if there was a cultural thing there, or somebody misheard something from the tower, but the Aussies decided to stay out. So that's going to keep Cracked Piston, who has led since the early part of the race, in the lead. He's followed by Super Crusher in the DHL Honda. HHV's got that Napa Auto Parts Napa Auto Parts Honda up into 3rd place. Revs Martin is in 4th in the 27. Mark C's got his Honda up into 5th, and it looks like Mark Webber, after that spinner, whatever put him back, has got that car back up to 6th place. I don't know if there was anybody needing the wave around there. They're all pulling in here into line as Cat Guy, Just Piddlin', and Taijo come out of the pits. They should be making their way around. We do still see Taijo. Looks like everybody's out of the pit lane now. McToasty lost at least 1 lap and possibly 2 there. I'm not sure. We'll have to check. Let's take a look at the timings. Yeah, McToasty and Survivor are 2 laps down. Taijo is 1 lap down. But if there's a rash of cautions, these guys are not out of it by any means. They can get a wave around under the yellows if obviously they're not part of the yellow and needing to be in the pits for repairs. I see 1 car, lap down car, way back on the track. That's Taijo coming back around, but these guys are getting ready to go for the restart. Cracked Piston leading us to the line. Still 32 minutes to go. We're going to be working lap 14, taking lap 15 here at Indianapolis. And they are going to be going green at the yard of bricks. All right, and we are green again here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Get my best and most favorite view right here. trying to see survivors in there still getting repaired, so another tough day for him. As we cycle up through what these guys are seeing, a little bit of a gap breaking back from 5th place. Not a good start for Mark C, as he did not appear to get off very well. And that back group, the front 4, using that track position to break away. Super Crusher got a great start, and we have another wreck on the track. Who is that? It looks like Cat Guy might be one of them. Just Pidlin's definitely one of them, I think. No, Just Pidlin's cleared. And it looks like Mark Webber, your pole sitter in the 77, he took a nasty, nasty ride there coming into the turn 3 in the short chute. Trying to see who else is involved. Looks like we're under yellow again. I don't see who else might be involved. But Mark Webber, your pole sitter, is going to have a tough time coming back from that, as he's crab walking that thing down. Tough luck for your pole sitter and your Willow Springs winner. I saw him take a nasty ride. Don't know if I see anybody else involved. Is it a solo, or is there contact with somebody else? Maybe McToasty's getting onto the pit lane. I don't know. He's back on the pit lane, so maybe he got a piece of it. Ty Joe stayed out. Mark Webber rather, is crab walking that thing in, so he definitely took some damage. We're under the second caution here on lap 16. Looks like Ty Joe is taking his lap back. He is going to be back on the lead lap. McToasty would have gotten one of those laps back, but he is back on pit lane, so you got to assume he got involved in that wreck with Mark Webber in some capacity. Both of those guys on the pit lane getting their cars repaired. There's tough luck for Mark Webber. The win at Willow Springs, took the pole here today. Looked good early on, then it just looked like he got into a bad stint there. Car fell back on him, and I think in that, you don't want to conjecture, but in that situation, what you're likely seeing in that situation is that front group had older tires, the new group had tires that were 10, 12 laps newer. You had faster cars coming on top of them. We've seen that many times. Looks like they're coming around one more time here as the officials are sorting something out. Good time to tell you to check us out at fluxmotorsport.com. You can join us through there's a link to our Discord from the website where you can join us and race in all of our different series. Flux Sports Car Championships, IndyCars, touring cars, soon to be running a variety of other disciplines. Check us out, fluxmotorsport.com. But Super Crusher, the Daytona winner, back up front as we are under caution here on lap 17. It's the second yellow of the day. So not sure what went on there, but that was a nasty wreck for Mark Webber. McToasty obviously got a piece of it. He's still in the pit lane getting repaired. Survivor's back on the track, but as we check in on him, he is now 3 laps down. Webber and McToasty still falling laps down as they're fixing those cars. Should point out that if the caution took place within the first lap after going green off of a caution, then the pits will not open for the lead lap cars. It'd be called a quick caution or a quickie caution, and they would just line back up and get ready to go. But obviously some sort of delay right there caused them to do an extra lap. The car's getting lined up. I don't know if they're going green this time or if the pit lane is opening, but either way, Super Crusher there in the DHL Honda is your leader. Winner at Daytona. You know he's fast on these speedways. He's been good everywhere this season. And with the way they're riding out, I don't see anybody darting to the left. I believe they are going green here. We'll be taking the green here on lap 18 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Super Crusher leading us back to the line. 2 cars back in the pit lane, still getting repaired. All right, and we are green again at Indianapolis. Hasn't been a real advantage to be the leader on a restart. You might get freight trained here. We'll see what Cracked Piston and HHV have for him. as they try to make the move up. Get over on board with the snapper car of Rebs Martin using our drone cam. He's in 4th place. Trying to get that thing into gear, looks like. He's not having an easy time getting that thing up to speed here on the restarts either. Might not have a real good restart here in the lower gears. That appears to be the same problem that Mark C here has had, and it is a very long pit stop for Mark and the Toasty, so extensive damage from those guys. Once again, a little separation in the group forming. Rebs Martin leading this second group over Mark C. Cat Guy's back up to 6th, and just Piddlin is up to 7. They're still well in it. If there was any damage, they got it repaired. Meanwhile, Super Crusher's out front. He's got Cracked Piston right behind him. HHV, a little bit of a gap back to him of about a second. He's going to be in danger of falling in with this next group. Well, let's get on board in the cockpit of the PureTech Chevrolet of Cat Guy, running in 6th place, the Flux Season 3 IndyCar champion. 4 career Flux IndyCar wins, tied with Matoshi for the most all time, and definitely a contender here. Daz said he was his pick. And looking to see how this car handles. He's got a full fuel load, new tires. How he's handling the dirty air. He's behind, looking up at Mark C. and Rebs Martin. And Cat Guy, I would guess, he has a long run car. He may want to let this go green for a while. Get settled into a groove. 39.8 that last time, gaining on the leaders. Cat Guy just looking smooth now, but he does appear to be falling back slightly from the couple guys in front of him. Coming down to turn 3, you're going to see him take the corner, get that left tire as low as he can, right on the white line, washes it out to the wall. Very clean line by Cat Guy, veteran driver. No lift, and back down the front straightaway, although he's got Ed Yeager with him. So we'll see if these two cars can make a move together. Just Piddlin coming back up. These guys running about 4 seconds off the lead after that restart. But despite that pit stop, I don't know. They pitted with about a half an hour to go, a little less than that. I don't know that they can go all the way on fuel. Fuel might be an issue here. You might see guys lean it back. You might see guys take a splash of fuel. I don't know. That's going to be a key point right here. So we're just going to have to see how these guys hold out, as they are trying to keep pace with the leaders who, working with that clean air, are just pulling away little by little from that front group. Super Crusher and Cracked Piston still 1-2 here at this point. HHV in 3rd, Rebs Martin in 4th right behind him, with Mark C. back in 5th having an excellent run. And then they've got a couple of seconds back to Ed Yeager, Cat Guy, just Piddlin in 8th. About 3 seconds back to Taijo, who's now back on the lead lap. And then we've got the cars running multiple laps down. Survivor, your pole sitter, Mark Webber, and McToasty, all multiple laps down, just trying to get their points for the day. But meanwhile, back up front, here we go, challenge for the lead. Cracked Piston to the outside on Super Crusher. How hard are they going to fight for it at this point? Ooh, when Super Crusher goes real, or Cracked Piston goes real wide, but makes it stick. And that move right there, however, brought HHV right back on top of him. We are just about to hit the cross flags halfway home here in the IndyCars at Indianapolis. Flux Motorsport Season 5, Round 4 of the IndyCar Championship, and now that whole group of front 5 is right back on top of them. Good time here to get to the back of that group. Let's take a look at the chase cam again with the drone of Mark C. It is all Australian drivers, I believe, in that top 5, dominating here at the Brickyard so far this season. Mark C trying to set it up. This is a great cam here on the speedways. You can really see the dirty air is what is the biggest factor here. You can see that dirty air right there, right in front of him. Rebs Martin is getting aero loose. because Mark's right behind him, taking the air off his rear wing, so when he dives into the corner, that back end wants to go, whereas Mark's front end wants to, you know, he's getting aero push or understeer because he's right on him. You can see right there, he's pushing up, and Revs is pulling out. The back end of Rev's car is moving up. Now the way to maintain speed together and to do that cleanly and go as fast as possible, and my former teammate, both of us having won here in the past, Rita St. James, we used to run together so well here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The key is to time how you get into the corner. You don't want to be coming up on their gearbox right as you're entering the corner. If you can, you want to give them a little, you want to get on their gearbox right here and then burp the throttle a little early. Get off the throttle a little early, let them have a little clean air going into the corner, and let yourself have a little clean air coming into the corner as well. And then you get back on the throttle hard. That way, as you come out of the exit turn, 2 or 4, you're full throttle all the way out, and the dirty air of the car in front of you or behind you is not affecting your exit turn onto the long front straightaway. And I'm wondering here, yes, it looks like we are under caution again, and it looks like Cracked Piston is down the pit lane. Missing the action going through the field. Cracked Piston on the pit lane. I can't see any damage, or maybe he got spun into the pit lane, but he was battling for the lead, and now all of a sudden he shot down the pit lane. I think maybe he got pushed down the pit lane and is now coming through, but he has lost a lap, maybe even 2. Yeah, it looks like he's lost a lap. I'm not sure what happened to him right there. They were battling up front, but we're underneath our 3rd caution flag of the day here on lap 28. Doesn't look like any damage to Super Crusher, so we don't know if they got together or what it was, but Cracked Piston has fallen a lap down now. He should be able to take the wave around unless he wants to pit under this yellow. And I think that most of the guys would, because from here, you should be able to make it on fuel here. But if you're Cracked Piston, if you're anybody else a lap down, you need to go take that lap back right now and get back on the lead lap. Hope you can save some fuel, or if you can't save some fuel, at the very least, what you should be able to do is hope for another caution that you can pit. But oval racing, speedway racing, all about strategy. This is our 3rd yellow of the day here on lap 28. Maybe the 4th. Is it the 4th one? Do we have one right off the bat there? No, I think it's the 3rd one. Either way. And it looks like there's another car on the pit lane as well. Just Piddlin and Taijo. Are they on the pit lane while it's closed? I don't know if they had damage or not. Hard to keep track of all this, but considering they're on the pit lane before the leaders and they're about to fall a lap down, yes, I'm going to assume they got caught up in whatever that was. Okay, let's see who comes on the pit lane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of the lead lap cars are going to be coming onto the pit lane. Now, they came on in that order. Let's see who comes out in the lead, whose pit crew is the fastest. Let's get on the chase cam for this one, folks. There's Mark C. Last car on that road. He's coming out. Cat Guy's just now coming out. Here comes HHV, Super Crusher, and it looks like Ed Yeager may have beaten Revs Martin out. And are they going to pass Super Crusher? Yes, they did. Super Crusher loses the lead. He falls from 1st to 3rd. Underneath the cycle of pit stops, Ed Yeager's going to cycle to the front. His pit crew did a tremendous job for that Quiznos car. Revs Martin's in 2nd, Super Crusher's 3rd, HHV is back in 4th, Cat Guy's in 5th, Mark C's in 6th, and then the first of our lap down cars will be Cracked Piston in 7th, Taijo in 8th, Just Piddlin in 9th, Survivor is in 10th, Mark Webber is in 11th, and McToasty still a few laps back in 12th. But those next group of cars, 7th through 11th, we got 6 on the lead lap. But with 17 minutes to go, another caution would give them a chance to get another lap back and get back on the lead lap. Taijo and Just Piddlin obviously caught up in that last caution as they are on the pit lane. That's going to be tough because Just Piddlin came in as the points leader with a very narrow margin. He could very well lose that points lead here today. And Taijo, the defending champion, came in 7th in the points, I believe, and he desperately needed to make up some ground here. So a tough day for these two, but still 7 cars now on the lead lap as Cracked Piston. He'll fall in behind Mark C. Cracked Piston will fall in behind Mark C in 6th. He should be in 7th place as they get the wave around sorted out here. And looks like they're starting to pick the speed back up, but Ed Yeager's pit crew, a tremendous job in that Quiznos. Is that a Honda that Ed's in? I always get these mixed up. Why don't I pay attention to my notes? No, that's the Quiznos Chevrolet. Ed Yeager, winner at Texas Motor Speedway in the final race last season. That is his only Flux IndyCar career win at this point, and his pit crew did a great job. They got to jump up on him. And so coming down to the restart, it's going to be Ed Yeager leading us back, Revs Martin in 2nd, Super Crusher 3rd, HHV 4th, Cat Guys up to 5th. With 15.5 minutes to go, they'll be taking the green on lap 30, so we would expect to see somewhere in the neighborhood of, with no more yellows, around 50-55 laps. All right, we're green. Super Crusher darting to the inside, making an aggressive move, and with that, he goes around. Super Crusher making an aggressive move, and he puts himself, Ed Yeager, around. That's going to be the 4th caution, and that one's going to cause a lot of consternation on the track. Super Crusher with a late run. I don't know. That looked a little late to me, trying to get inside of Ed into the corner. Those two bumped coming into turn 1. Super Crusher trying to get the jump on the restart. He put that thing into the wall, and that looked like a little bit of an over-aggressive move. But Ed Yeager, he's coming down. He's got to be fuming in the cockpit of that Chevy. His pit crew just got him out in the lead, and it looked to me like it was a little late in the corner. Ed was already committed to that apex, and as he came down, Super Crusher ran out of room as they went for the same real estate. And that is going to put us under caution for the 4th time, and it looks to me, being honest, that was avoidable. I realize we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and track position is everything at this point, but it looked a little late to be making that move, and that is going to cost both of these guys now. That might be what Taijo needed to get the wave around done. But HHV in the 98 Napa Auto Parts Honda is back up to the lead. How about Cat Guy moving all the way up to 2nd place? Mark C's in 3rd, Cracked Piston in 4th. I don't know who else may have gotten banged up in that. We may have more damage as the cameras cycle back. They're coming down to the pit lane. I'm expecting to see some cars hit the pit lane, but this is right off of the restart, so we should be going green just about right away. Quick caution, as there was less than 1 lap since the last restart, and it looks like HHV is going to be bringing us down. All right, and we are green. Looks like Super Crusher and Revs Martin got caught up in it, and Ed Yeager all going onto the pit lane. Unfortunately for them, with it being less than 1 lap since the last caution, the pits are not open and the wave arounds are not given. Should have remembered that. And so that puts us in a position where we now have just those front 4 cars on the lead lap with 13 minutes to go. Got to stay out of trouble here at these oval races. Got to avoid getting banged up, but it's HHV in the lead. He's got Cat Guy right behind him. Cat Guy looks like he's trying to put the move on. So yeah, we've got 4 cars on the lead lap. Just Piddlin and Taijo ought to cycle up here past the 3 getting repaired. They are 1 lap down. They're praying for another caution before the cutoff at 5 minutes so that they can get another wave around, but they pray, of course, the caution's not them. Whereas Mark Webber and McToasty still running multiple laps down. As I said, the caution came right after, and it looks like we're backing off again. Do we have another one? Looks like Survivor's going slow on the track. But we are definitely going under yellow for a 5th time, so these guys having a bit of a wreck fest here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You'll see some cautions here, but 5 seems to be a little high. I believe 5 was the total for the race last season. Not sure what that one was. They did score a lap, so it should be opening up the pit lanes to everybody. And they are right there. We've got a couple of cars taking the wave around. Mark Webber taking one lap back. Survivor needs to bring that thing around for repairs, it looks like. As that thing's banged up, McToasty might be taking a lap back. But under our 5th yellow, and once again, you got to look back at that last restart. That has to be controversial. You got to see it. Would like to see it a second time before I make a judgment, but it looked to me like that was a pretty ambitious move from Super Crusher. Pretty late in the corner to be trying to go on the inside there. Ed Yeager already committed, and you're probably better off there anyway, running in his wake and then getting to the straightaway. You're going to be able to take him on the backstretch if you're that much quicker. But unfortunately for both of those guys, that's going to bang them up. And so as it sits now, we've got a couple of cars working their way back around. There goes Ed Yeager taking a lap back. But it looks like we might be headed towards a final shootout restart here, working lap 33 at Indianapolis. HHV is your lead car in the number 98. Cat Guy is in second. Mark C looking for that big performance in the 26. Andretti Honda's in third. Cracked Piston has got that thing back up to 4th place. Ty Joe back on the lead lap. He's running in 5th. Meanwhile, just piddling Mark Webber, Super Crusher, and Revs Martin all one lap down. They'll be praying that we get a restart, they go at least a lap. It doesn't look like with the time left that they're likely to get another wave around chance, because we have to have a green flag after these pits open up. We have to have a green flag, and we have to go at least one lap. And it looks to me like HHV is decided to stay out, as has Cat Guy, Mark C, Cracked Piston, Ty Joe. All these guys deciding to stay out. Super Crusher and Revs Martin, they took a wave. They are getting their lap back. So that's going to put 7 cars on the lead lap here. I don't know. We go green with about another minute. They clear a lap. There's a chance for another caution flag that would give those guys, just piddling Mark Webber and Ed Yeager, a chance to get back on the lead lap. But it would take some very lucky timing. They, however, are racing for position and racing for points in the championship, no doubt. All 12 starters still in the field, as we should be going green next time by. The Aussie driver HHV in the 98 car is your leader. Had himself a heck of a race so far. As we said, came in 8th in the championship. He was on the podium at Daytona in his debut, then finished 4th at Willow Springs. Didn't have the race he wanted at Long Beach, but he has been impressive this season in the Flux IndyCar Championship, and he's going to come to the start-finish line here at the end with the lead. But he has got one of the longest-term veterans in IndyCar racing with me back pre-Flux days in these cars. OGR Cat Guy, the Flux Season 3 IndyCar champion. As I've said before, 4 wins from 7 races that season, but last season in Season 4, this wasn't his year. He got involved in just about every wreck, and this season didn't start off much better in the first 2 rounds, but he came through all the carnage to get on the podium and finish 3rd last week at Long Beach. And this, if he can finish up front here, this could get him right back into the championship. As just piddling, he's had some problems. McToasty, 3rd in the championships, had some problems, and Immortalis and Muttley not here in this race. All right, so we're getting ready for the restart. I think I'm going to get this one. Let's get on Ty Joe chase cam. We need to see, as it looks like they're having a little problem sorting some stuff out here with wave around cars. A little bit of a delay sometimes on the ovals as the officials communicate to the drivers. The more you do these races, the more likely. All right, so they are waving it around for one more time. Looks like we have somebody on the outside there. May have taken an extra lap. Looks like Mark Webber, the pole sitter, needs to get to the back of the field, and that's why they waved it off. No big deal there. He had some hard luck with that hard wreck. But as these guys sort it out here, Cracked Piston, he's back on the pit lane, it looks like, getting repaired. hard to keep track of everybody. Just Piddlin's back on the lead lap, so it looks like, yeah, we do have 7 cars on the lead lap. We have 7 on the lead lap. We have a couple of cars here, Ed and Mark Webber, who are a lap down, but they're running out of time here. Does not look like they're going to get another chance to get a wave around, so they're going to be racing each other for those points and for position. The delay there sorting out the wave around cars, which can be cumbersome at times on the oval tracks, no doubt. But as the guys do it more, they get more familiar with it. 3 speedway races out of the 8 on the schedule. IndyCar, that's what makes IndyCar what it is. It is the most diverse challenge in motorsports in a lot of people's opinions. You run on high-speed ovals, short ovals, street courses, natural terrain road courses, all kinds of different tracks and different kinds of car setups you need to be proficient with. And as we get down to the nitty-gritty, just over 5 minutes, this should be the last restart. 5 cautions today has been par for the course, maybe a little high, but now's the time to get on that chase cam on the back of that group. We want to see going with 5th place Super Crusher. They've got some lap down cars in between them, it looks like to me, however. Looks like Ed Yeager might be farther up in that line. He is, as Mark Webber's down there. McToastie's up in the line. Alright, so let's see from Super Crusher's seat in 5th place, as this should be the final restart, barring an immediate problem with just over 5 minutes to go. We're going to be green to the finish. Super Crusher with a big jump on the 2 lap cars in front of him. They give way to him. Very good, very well done by McToastie and Ed Yeager there. And Ed Yeager probably didn't feel like giving Super Crusher a break there, but he did, like a sportsman. All right, Tyjo's up in 4th. 1, 2, and 3 right there. It's time to get trackside, because it looks to me like Cat Guy's putting the move on HHV for the lead. He's to the inside in turn 3, and he's got him. Dirty Air pushes HHV up, and Cat Guy takes the lead on lap 36. We are green to the finish from this point. Any wrecks on the track, it is get what you got. Cat Guy, the veteran, he's been here before. He's got HHV and Mark C right on him. Tyjo right behind them in 4th. Super Crusher not far behind in 5th. The whole front group there racing for positions. 8 cars on the lead lap. His cracked piston made a stop. He got back before he got lapped back around. So it's 8 cars on the lead lap. And HHV on the backstretch takes the lead again. This is going to go all the way down to the wire. That front 3 has a little bit of a gap on Tyjo and Super Crusher and the next group behind them. We'll try to take a look at these guys. It looks like we may have a problem. Cracked piston. Not seeing him on the track. Looks like he may have gotten banged up. He's way off pace and fallen down. Meanwhile, back up front, we don't want to miss the action. Front 3 still going at it. Don't know if that next group of 4, we'll try to keep an eye on them too, but we're going with the big one here. Let's get on board in the cockpit with Mark C. He's looking for, it's been a great day for him if he can avoid trouble. He's in the wake here. HHV in the lead, Cat Guy in 2nd, Mark C in 3rd. They've got about 3 seconds on the second group behind them. And you can see them trying to work that slipstream at 230 miles an hour down the front stretch here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. High drama here. HHV looking for his first career Flux IndyCar championship. Looks like we lost our first car survivor blowing his motor here at the end. So our first car out of the race, not first bit of attrition, so it's been a pretty clean race so far in terms of the engines. Mark C just looking for the spot where he can make a move here. Running down the last few minutes, we only got 3 or 4 laps left. The expensive cautions has taken probably about 15-20 laps off the board. And it looks like Cat Guy's making the move again to the inside, and he gets it done. And it looks like every time he makes that move, HHV's having trouble with the dirty air. But a clean move by Cat Guy, just over 2 minutes to go, working lap 40. HHV now has to deal with Mark C. Get back to our drone cam again here on Mark. what he's seeing. We've got a couple of guys, they must have fallen off here. Super Crusher's 5 seconds back. Taijo, he's slow on the track. He must be damaged. As is Mark Webber, so those two must have got together again. Tough break there for Taijo. As these two look like they're pulling into the pit lane. So Taijo and Mark Webber taking another shot. Meanwhile, here comes HHV back on the outside in turn 3. Can he get it done? Yes, he does. Mark C trying to hang with these guys as Taijo and Mark Webber fall back as they make more repairs for damage. We're down to a minute, and with this time left, that's 2 laps to go. We have 2 laps to go, 5 miles at the Brickyard. HHV is back in the lead. You know that Cat Guy's just waiting for his opportunity to make that move now. As we see Revs Martin going slow there on the inside. Another tough race for him. Cat Guy to the outside. He's made his move on the inside, so it looks to me like HHV is going to... Oh, and Cat Guy catches the wall. Catches the wall in the short chute. That might be hurting Cat Guy's chances as we're coming now to the white flag. 1 more lap to go, and HHV has a bit of a gap now. Cat Guy catching the wall there, got up in the marbles in the dirty air, and he now falls back a couple seconds. Cat Guy's got damage on that car. He's falling back 3-4 seconds. He's going to try to hang on for position, but in the meanwhile, HHV has shot out to a sizable lead, and this might be his day. The Aussie driver is going to put himself right back in the heat of the championship. If he can hang on here, he's got some lap traffic in front of him. Don't want to pull a J.R. Hildebrand. Mark C is closing in, but off the final corner. Mark's got a draft. He's coming. He's coming. Does he have a shot at him? I don't think so. No. And it's over. HHV hangs on to get the win. His first career Flux IndyCar Championship win. Mark C comes home in second. Super Crusher passes Cat Guy for third. Cat Guy hangs on to that car for 4th place. But he went up high into the marbles, caught the wall, and limped that car home in 4th. It looks like Cracked Piston managing to save that car. He's coming around lap traffic here, looking to bring that car home with a top 5 finish, so a decent day for him after running into some trouble. But the man of the hour in the 98 Napa Auto Parts Honda, his first career Flux IndyCar Championship win, is HHV. That is our 3rd first-time winner in 4 races this season. And this guy, 3rd at Daytona, 4th at Willow Springs. He's shown the speed, and today he outlasted one of the great veterans of the IndyCar Championship, former IndyCar champion OGR Cat Guy. And what a show these guys put on at the Brickyard. All right, folks, so your final results from the Flux Motorsport Season 5 IndyCar Championship at Indianapolis in round 4, picking up his first career Flux IndyCar win. It's HHVC with a fantastic run in that 98 Honda. Hangs on for the victory. Can't say enough about it. Kept that car clean, outdueled one of the greats of this series, Cat Guy, at the end. Fantastic run, first career victory. Congratulations to him. And we got to say, what a run for Hard Luck Mark. He gets his best career finish in the IndyCar Championship, gets on the podium, finishes second. Just a great run for him. Super Crusher, he brings that car home in 3rd, although I'm sure there's going to be some controversy about that final restart. He does manage to get it around, gets on the podium yet again, and that may be enough, should be enough to put him back into the points lead. Cat Guy, hard luck there at the finish, but a great race from the veteran. He comes home in 4th place. Cracked Piston led some laps early in this race, was right up near the front, ran into trouble, great recovery drive. He comes home in 5th. Then it's our cars a lap down. Ed Yeager had a shot there at the end. Pit crew got him in the lead. There's going to be a lot of talk about that restart with about 12 minutes to go, but Ed Yeager brings it home in 6th place like the pro that he is. Taijo, the reigning champion, he comes home in 7th, a couple of laps down. McToasty brings it home in 8th. He's 3 laps down, 4 laps down for the points leader coming in, just Piddlin. Tough day for him in 9th. Mark Webber, your pole sitter, he comes home in 10th. Revs Martin ran in 11th. Survivor blew his motor and did not finish. So just Another fantastic week of racing here in the IndyCar Championship. Another first-time winner, third time in 4 races this season, and that's going to shake up the championship yet again, as these cars will be at the Watkins Glen International Short Course next week for the IndyCar Championship. But we continue our weekend of racing tomorrow night, 8 p.m. U.S. or I'm sorry, 7 p.m. U.S. time, midnight UK time. We begin the 2 classes of the Flux Sports Car Championships. They will be right here at Indianapolis on the road course of the Brickyard. The GTE race at 7 p.m. Eastern time, midnight in the UK, and at 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 in the UK, will be the LMP2 class. So 2 classes of sports car racing tomorrow. Then on Sunday, 8 p.m. Australian time, the Flux V8 Supercars Championship will be at Fuji Speedway in Japan. We saw a tremendous touring car race at Fuji a couple days ago right here on Flux TV. I was in the booth for that one. But once again, great race. We're at the midway point in the season. Still can't call who the champion's going to be. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at the Brickyard. Once again, congratulations to HHVC, his first career Flux IndyCar Championship victory. So for all the drivers, for Flux Motorsport, remember to check us out, fluxmotorsport.com. This is Carlin Hicks from the Brickyard, signing off. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.